As a child, did you ever listen to The Three Little Pigs by a natural storyteller? The wolf huffs and he puffs, and you wait for the next line. Someone without storytelling sense might rattle through the tale without any build-up, and the tension falls flat. Suspense is not merely a trick of the mystery trade. Every story improves when the tension cord stretches. Anticipating a change in the hero's situation, but not knowing exactly what's coming or when, and then being right there with the hero as the action builds to a satisfactory conclusion. This is what makes stories intriguing to us. Like riding a roller coaster, there's a clear beginning, middle, and end, something we rarely experience in life. So, as writers, we want to give our readers a roller coaster ride that is filled with surprise and suspense all along the way. Surprise and suspense are key players. So here's how it's done. Step number 1, set the mood. Whether your story unfolds slowly or races along like a Corvette on open highway, your setup sentence needs to hint at what's coming. You'll recall George Orwell's classic novel 1984. It starts like this. It was a bright, cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13. Whoa, what a surprise. Everything was normal until we got to that word 13. And did you notice that the sentence builds, then the key word drops in right at the end? When we look back at the opening for Emissary, we notice a similarity. 80 million miles from Earth, a ship aims its transfer beam at Air Force One. The most troubling words come at the end. Step number 2. Give the viewpoint character something to fear or desire, and make the reader care. I'm going to repeat that because it's important. Give the viewpoint character something to fear or desire, and make the reader care. In 1984, Winston Smith just wants out of the cold, but he has to climb 7 flights on a bad ankle through hallways smelling of boiled cabbage. As readers, we feel for Winston. In Emissary, we see President Hale wearily accepting 16-hour workdays and the tedium some of her duties entail. We get it that she might enjoy a smidgen of liquid relief. Step number 3. Show an imminent change for the worse and the hero's vulnerability. Winston, standing at his apartment window, sees the thought police watching, as always. Fearfully, he moves away from the window. In Emissary, we see President Hale's vulnerability in the scar she hides behind her blonde hair. And we see a change for the worse when the NSA advisor enters. Step number 4. Instill a sense of urgency and make the reader worry. In 1984, Winston furtively takes a blank diary from a drawer. To be caught owning it means certain punishment, and we want Winston to hurry. And we want to know why he has this diary. In Emissary, President Hale is already exhausted when her chief of staff brings in a brief marked urgent. And we're still worried about that spaceship aiming its transfer beam. So in 4 steps, you can create suspense for a reader through anticipation of what's to come, tension while we wait for it, and eventually release when it happens. The task is to do this over and over throughout your story, never completely releasing the tension until the end. And if you think this is easy, think again. Here's a tip, however, to keep the tension going. Never resolve one problem until another has been introduced. So before the reader learns what's in that urgent brief, the scene ends and I start another, introducing rule. Now this is tricky because in less than 2 pages, I take the reader out of an ordinary world and into a world where an extraterrestrial can simply beam aboard Air Force One. A reader who isn't paying attention might feel they've been jerked too fast from one place to the other. Like I said, risky, but I think it works. So, scene 1 ends like this. As Air Force One banked for the final approach to Andrews, late afternoon light streamed through an aircraft window. Addison's tea rippled gently, and for the space of a heartbeat, a brilliant sunbeam gleamed off the gold rim of her cup. There's a break, and then the next scene opens with this. Perched at the edge of Addison Hale's drink container, Emissary Rule's biological energy spark hesitated before entering the president's corporeal form. Not every reader instantly understands what has happened there, because the sentence is dense with meaning. Readers who do comprehend, however, usually appreciate the subtlety. And what we've done is introduce two characters along with hinting at the symbiotic relationship they're about to develop. And we've done it without sacrificing pace or tension. Every story's success hinges on a writer's ability to loop a tension cord of anticipation around the reader on page 1, and using the reader's emotions, keep the tension cord taut page after page. Fortunately, I have a couple more tricks for making that happen.